God's chosen ones, hear this. There are days on the calendar that carry no weight, and then there are days that shake eternity. August 20 is not an ordinary day. It is a day marked in the heavens, a day written in mystery, a day that unlocks everything. For years, some of you have walked through the silence of unanswered prayers, through betrayals, delays, and closed doors, wondering if the promises spoken over your life were forgotten. But this day is not about what you have lost. It is about what is about to be released. The locks that held you back are breaking, the chains that restrained you are shattering, and the gates that denied you are swinging open. August 20 is the threshold where the hidden will be revealed, where the chosen will rise, and where destiny begins to unfold before your very eyes. The appointed day of unlocking. There are moments in life that come and go without weight, days that fade into the dust of time without memory. But then there are moments that heaven itself marks, moments that carry eternal weight, days that unlock mysteries hidden since the foundation of the world. August 20 is one of those days. It is not merely a number on the calendar. It is an appointed time, a threshold between what was and what is about to be. For years, the chosen of God have endured seasons of silence, doors bolted shut, opportunities withheld, promises delayed. But when the appointed day comes, what was locked must unlock. Think of Joseph in the prison cell of Egypt. The doors of iron held him fast, the walls surrounded him in chains. He had been betrayed, abandoned, forgotten by those he once helped. Yet there came a day when the prison doors were commanded to open, and in a single moment Joseph was lifted from the dungeon to the throne. That day was not random. That day was an appointed day. So it is with August 20. It is not a date by chance. It is a date written into your story by the author of time itself. The locks in your life have not been permanent fixtures. They were tests, not tombs. What looked like denial was preparation. What seemed like delay was alignment. Every shut door, every withheld answer, every moment of waiting was pointing to a divine unlocking. You see, a lock is not a wall. It is a door with a key, and the God who sets times and seasons holds that key. August 20 is the moment when the key turns, when the bolt shifts, when the door opens wide before you. But understand this, unlocking does not happen in comfort. It happens in conflict. Locks are placed because something valuable is behind them. You have felt resistance not because you are unworthy, but because what is within you carries weight, carries power, carries destiny. The opposition you have faced was the evidence of the treasure you hold. The enemy locked the gates because he feared what would happen if you stepped through. But the fear of your adversary will become the sound of your victory. For on the appointed day, the very doors that resisted you will testify to your calling. August 20 is a prophetic hinge in time. Imagine standing before a great door, usted, ancient, unmoved by human strength. For years you have pressed, knocked, cried, but the door did not budge. Yet on this day, the sound of a key turning in the lock echoes from eternity. Suddenly, what resisted for years opens with ease. What once mocked you with silence will now welcome you with access. This is the appointed day of unlocking. Do not mistake the unlocking for the end of struggle. It is the beginning of responsibility. When Joseph left the prison, he did not step into a life of ease, but into the throne of Egypt. When the Red Sea parted, Israel did not enter paradise immediately. They entered a wilderness that would lead them to promise. Unlocking is not the finish line, it is the doorway. It is the moment when the story shifts from hiddenness to manifestation, from waiting to walking. Many have asked, why so long? Why the delay? Why the closed gates? The answer is this: God does not open doors prematurely. If the gate had opened too soon, you would not have been ready. If the opportunity had come before your preparation, it would have destroyed you instead of promoted you. The very delay you cursed was the mercy that preserved you. But now the time of waiting is complete. The silence has reached its end. The locks that held you were never stronger than the one who holds the key. Look deeper. Every lock is connected to a mystery. When Daniel prayed, the answer was sent immediately, but the prince of Persia resisted for 21 days. The heavens themselves held the mystery until the appointed moment, and so with you, what was sent from heaven was intercepted, resisted, delayed, but not denied. On August 20, the command is released, unlock. That which resisted must yield, that which delayed must give way, that which was held back must be released. But know this also, unlocking comes with a call. You cannot stand idle at an open gate. When the door swings wide, you must walk through. Fear cannot keep you back. Doubt cannot hold you down. This day is not only about what God does, it is about how you respond. The chosen must arise, must step forward, must claim the inheritance. For an open door unused is no different than a door closed. This appointed day carries with it a separation. Those who are watching will see, but those who are chosen will enter. The door is not for all. It is for those who have endured the waiting, those who have carried the burden, those who have been prepared in the hidden place. Many will marvel, but only the faithful will walk through. August 20 will expose who was merely curious and who was truly chosen. Consider the walls of Jericho. They stood as an immovable lock before Israel, denying access to the promise. Yet God appointed a day and an instruction: march, sound the trumpet, and the walls will fall. The walls did not fall because of Israel's strength. They fell because the appointed moment had come. And so it is with you. The walls that mocked you are about to crumble, not by your power, but by his decree. Do not despise the locks that once hindered you, for when the door opens, you will understand why it was closed. The prison preserved Joseph until the throne was ready. The wilderness shaped Israel until the promise was ripe. The silence trained you until the release was set. Every lock had a purpose, and every lock now gives way to the appointed unlocking. August 20 is not about chance, nor is it about coincidence. It is about divine orchestration. The God who numbers your days has written this day as a turning point. Heaven has aligned it, destiny has marked it, and eternity bears witness to it. This is the day when your no becomes a yes, when your denial becomes access, when your closed becomes open. This is the appointed day of unlocking. So hear this, chosen ones, prepare yourselves. Do not come to the door with doubt in your heart. Do not stand before the gate with fear in your hands. The key has turned, the bolt has shifted, the door has opened. Step through, claim what has been promised, take hold of what has been released, for August 20 is not merely a day to remember, it is a day to walk into. It is the day that unlocks everything. The mystery of hidden preparation, every chosen one must pass through a season of shadows, a season where nothing makes sense, a season where heaven seems silent and the world seems blind to who you are. It is in this hidden season that the greatest mysteries are written. August 20 does not come without reason. It comes after years of preparation, after a journey of fire, pruning, and testing that most could not endure. To the chosen, the delays, betrayals, and deserts were never accidents. They were divine appointments dressed as disappointments. What you thought was the enemy's plan to bury you was, in truth, God's design to prepare you. Consider David, the shepherd boy who was anointed king. The oil poured over his head, and yet he returned not to a throne but to the sheepfold. For years he fought lions and bears in obscurity, while a crown awaited him in Jerusalem. Why? Because hidden battles are the proving grounds of destiny. Before David could defeat Goliath before the eyes of a nation, he had to learn faith in the secret fields where no one applauded, no one saw, no one cared. So it has been with you. The hidden season has been your training ground. The tears no one witnessed, the prayers no one heard, the struggles no one understood. These were not wasted. They were forming the strength, the endurance, and the faith needed for the unlocking to come. The chosen are never rushed into their calling. Every destiny worth holding must first be tested by time. Joseph dreamed of greatness, but before his dream could breathe in daylight, he was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Years passed and the dream seemed dead, but in truth the dream was alive. It was Joseph who was being shaped. His chains were not a denial, but a classroom. His disappointments were not abandonment, but divine preparation. Without the prison, Joseph would never have been ready for the palace. Without the waiting, he would never have been able to bear the weight of ruling nations. The mystery of hidden preparation is this: God prepares his chosen in silence because noise would destroy them. He hides you so that he can heal you. He conceals you so that he can complete you. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being formed. You thought heaven had turned its face away, but in truth, heaven was closest in the silence. Diamonds are not forged in the light of crowds, but in the darkness of the earth under unrelenting pressure. So it has been with you. What was crushing you was not killing you, it was transforming you. Do not despise the hidden years. They are the very years that protect you from premature exposure. Many have rushed into their promise too soon, only to be destroyed by the weight of it. But God, in his mercy, covered you until you were ready. Think of Moses. For 40 years he lived in Pharaoh's palace, but when the call came, he was not ready. He fled into the desert, and for another 40 years he was hidden, forgotten by the world, but not by God. Only then, at the appointed time, was he called to stand before Pharaoh and deliver Israel. Hiddenness was not punishment, it was preservation. This is the mystery. The delay is not denial. The silence is not absence. The hiddenness is not rejection. It is love, for only those who are deeply loved are deeply prepared. Only those destined for great impact are destined for great preparation. Every chosen one must carry the scars of silence, for it is the silence that carves humility, endurance, and unwavering faith into the soul. August 20 is not a sudden breakthrough. It is the unveiling of years of hidden preparation. It is the moment when what you endured in the dark is revealed in the light. Every battle that no one saw, every tear that fell unseen, every betrayal that cut in silence, it was all shaping the vessel that could now hold the blessing. Without the darkness, the light would blind you. Without the crushing, the oil would not flow. Without the hidden place, the open door would destroy you. The chosen are like seeds. When a seed is planted, it disappears into the ground. To the world, it looks like it has died, buried, forgotten. But beneath the soil, unseen, a mystery unfolds. Roots are spreading, life is stirring, and in the fullness of time, the seed breaks forth into a tree. So it is with you. Your hiddenness was not death. It was planting. Your burial was not the end, it was the beginning. On August 20, the seed that seemed forgotten is breaking through the soil. But take this warning, not all survive the hidden season. Some grow bitter in the silence. Some abandon the promise in the wilderness. Some lose faith in the waiting. The mystery of hidden preparation is not only about what God does, but about how you endure. If you can remain faithful when unseen, if you can believe when all evidence says otherwise, if you can trust when silence mocks you, then you are truly chosen, for faith that survives the hidden years is the faith that can rule kingdoms. Understand this: when God prepares you in secret, he is also preparing the stage in public. While Joseph was in prison, God was setting the stage in Pharaoh's court. While David was tending sheep, God was stirring unrest in Saul's kingdom. While Esther was hidden among the maidens, God was orchestrating a threat that only she could defeat. You thought nothing was happening, but in truth, everything was happening. Heaven was aligning pieces you could not see, moving hearts you did not know, arranging steps that would converge at the appointed time. And so August 20 is not random, it is convergence. It is the day when hidden preparation meets revealed destiny, when private tears meet public joy, when secret endurance meets open reward. It is the day when the story shifts from training to triumph. The very things that made no sense will suddenly fit together like pieces of a divine puzzle. So take courage, chosen ones. Do not despise the mystery. Do not curse the hidden season. It was the womb that birthed your destiny. It was the furnace that purified your faith. It was the silence that shaped your strength. And now, as the appointed unlocking approaches, you will see why it had to be this way. August 20 will not make sense to those who never endured the hidden season. But to you, the one who cried alone, who prayed without answer, who walked through the wilderness of betrayal, it will be everything. For it will reveal that you were never abandoned, never forgotten, never forsaken. You were being prepared, and now what was hidden will be revealed, what was planted will rise, what was promised will come forth. This is the mystery of hidden preparation, and now the mystery is about to be unveiled. The separation of the chosen from the pretenders, every generation comes to a moment where the line is drawn, where the true is revealed and the false is exposed. That moment is not decided by men, but by heaven. August 20 is such a moment. It is the day of separation, the day when the wheat is divided from the tares, the day when the light exposes the shadows, the day when the masks of pretenders fall and the faces of the chosen shine. For too long, the chosen ones have walked beside those who carried no oil, those who wore crowns that were not theirs, those who spoke words of faith but carried hearts of compromise. But a season is coming to its climax, and on this day the separation must take place. The chosen and the pretenders can walk together for a season, but not forever. The sheep and the goats can graze in the same field, but when the shepherd comes, he divides them. The wise and foolish virgins may all carry lamps, but when the cry rings out at midnight, only those with oil enter in. Pretenders may mimic the outward appearance, but they cannot sustain the inward fire. When the day of unlocking comes, it exposes what was hidden. It reveals who was prepared and who was merely playing a part. This separation is not cruelty, it is necessity, for destiny cannot be shared with deception. When Joseph was raised to power, his brothers who betrayed him were exposed for what they were. When David rose to the throne, Saul was revealed as the counterfeit. When Moses stood before Pharaoh, the magicians tried to imitate his signs, but their rods could not stand against the rod of God. The true and the false may look alike for a time, but the fire of God will always reveal the difference. August 20 is the day when the fire descends, and fire does not only consume, it reveals. Fire separates the gold from the dross, the pure from the counterfeit. The chosen will shine brighter, but the pretenders will wither. The ones who have walked in secret faithfulness will be lifted, and those who thrived on appearances will collapse. For the day of unlocking is also the day of unveiling, and unveiling always divides. Pretenders carry no root. They look strong in the sun, but when the winds come, they fall. They speak loudly when crowds gather, but in silence they are empty. They desire the throne without the wilderness, the crown without the cross, the blessing without the breaking. But the chosen have endured the crushing, have borne the silence, have carried the weight. The chosen are not those who look the part, but those who live the cost. This is the separation. Appearance will no longer matter, only authenticity will. Do not mourn this separation, for it must be so. When God called Gideon, he began with 32,000 men. But before the battle, God separated the fearful from the faithful, the careless from the careful. In the end, only 300 remained, Why? Because destiny requires purity, not numbers. The victory of the chosen cannot be shared with the uncommitted. The unlocking of the gate cannot include those who were never meant to walk through. This is why many will be shocked, for some who looked strong will fall away, and others who were overlooked will rise. The pretenders will cry, Lord, Lord, but he will say, I never knew you. Their lips confessed, but their hearts were far. Their hands performed, but their spirits were hollow, and yet the chosen, quiet, hidden, faithful, will be revealed in power. The last will become first, and the forgotten will become the foundation. The masks are coming off. Betrayals that were hidden will surface. Secrets that were concealed will be exposed. Those who manipulated, those who faked, those who used the language of the chosen but lived as enemies of truth, they will be uncovered. August 20 will not flatter them, it will confront them. The false cannot survive the day of unlocking, for the light exposes what the darkness tried to cover. But take this as a warning, chosen ones, the separation will also test you. Do not cling to those whom God is removing. Do not mourn what was only meant for a season. When Lot separated from Abraham, then God showed Abraham the fullness of his inheritance. When Judas departed from the disciples, then the cross unfolded its purpose. Some who walked beside you will not cross with you. Do not hold on. Release them, for the separation is necessary for your elevation. The chosen are identified not by their titles, but by their scars. They have endured the long nights, the hidden betrayals, the waiting seasons. They carry the oil of endurance, the mark of faith, the strength of obedience. They are not perfect, but they are faithful. They are not flawless, but they are surrendered. These are the ones who will stand when others fall, who will shine when others fade. The pretenders, however, cannot withstand the test of truth. Their crowns are borrowed, their oil is counterfeit, their strength is shallow. They thrive only when the lights are on, but in the midnight cry they are exposed. They resemble the chosen outwardly, but lack the fire within. Their collapse is not punishment, it is exposure. It is the unveiling of what was always true. So do not be shaken when the separation comes. It must come. The destiny ahead is too great, the calling too holy, the unlocking too weighty to carry the counterfeit. God does not build with false stones, he builds with living ones. He does not plant with weeds, he plants with wheat. The separation is the mercy that preserves the chosen and purifies the promise. And so, on August 20, when the gates swing open, the world will watch. Some will rise, some will fall. Some will walk through, others will be left behind. The chosen will not only step into their destiny, they will also carry the authority to expose the false. Just as light reveals darkness, so their rising will reveal who never belonged. This is not cruelty, it is clarity, it is the unveiling of truth. Therefore, chosen ones, stand firm. Do not fear the separation. Do not cling to what God is removing. Do not be deceived by appearances. The true will shine, the false will fade. The wheat will remain, the tares will be burned. The oil of the wise will glow, the lamps of the foolish will die. This is the day of separation, and it is coming swiftly. August 20 is not just the unlocking of doors. It is the unveiling of hearts, and when the unveiling comes, nothing hidden will remain. The pretenders will be exposed, and the chosen will rise. This is the moment heaven has ordained. This is the separation of the chosen from the pretenders. The reversal of what the enemy meant for harm. Every chosen one has faced attacks they did not deserve, betrayals they did not earn, and wounds they did not invite. The enemy has plotted, schemed, and whispered lies into the shadows, hoping to destroy you before you could rise. He struck with disappointment, with loss, with rejection. He tried to bury you under the weight of despair, hoping you would never see the light of your calling. But what the enemy meant for harm, heaven has already ordained for reversal. August 20 is not only the unlocking of destiny, it is the day of reversal, the day when the very weapons formed against you turn into the instruments of your breakthrough. Think of Joseph again, standing before the brothers who sold him into slavery, the very men who cast him into a pit and thought his dreams were dead. Years later, he stands clothed in authority, holding the power of Egypt, able to save their lives in the time of famine. His words echo through eternity. You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. That is the mystery of reversal. The plot of the enemy becomes the platform for the chosen. The harm meant to crush you becomes the soil that grows you. The betrayal that tried to break you becomes the key that unlocks you. Reversal is not just survival, it is transformation. It is the turning of mourning into dancing, ashes into beauty, loss into gain. The chosen are not merely restored, they are elevated. Job lost everything, and the enemy believed the story was finished. But the God of reversal doubled his portion, restored his fortune, and made his latter days greater than his former. That is what August 20 represents, not just the closing of one chapter, but the rewriting of the story where pain becomes purpose and wounds become weapons. The enemy underestimated your resilience. He thought betrayal would silence you, but it taught you discernment. He thought loss would destroy you, but it deepened your faith. He thought isolation would crush you, but it purified your calling. Every trap he set became the very stage on which God would display his glory. This is the reversal, that the plans of darkness backfire and serve the very destiny they sought to destroy. Look at the cross. It was the greatest weapon of the enemy, designed to kill the Son, to end the mission, to silence the Word. Yet it became the greatest victory in history, the place where death was defeated and eternal life released. The cross was meant for shame, but it became glory. It was meant for destruction, but it became salvation. This is the principle of reversal. The enemy's greatest weapon becomes his greatest defeat. So it will be for the chosen on August 20. Reversal is not always instant, but when the appointed time arrives, it is unstoppable. Israel was enslaved for 400 years, oppressed by Pharaoh, mocked as weak and powerless. Yet in a single night the tables turned. The oppressors begged them to leave, showering them with silver and gold, sending them out with wealth instead of chains. The very nation that enslaved them financed their journey to the promise. That is reversal. The captor becomes the servant, the oppressor becomes the provider, the curse becomes the blessing, and so, chosen ones, the betrayals you endured, the lies that were spoken, the losses you carried, they are not wasted. They are fuel for reversal. The pit will point to the palace. The wilderness will lead to the promised land. The exile will usher in the return. The scars will testify to the healing. Every pain you endured has been accumulating interest, and on August 20, the day of unlocking, the reversal begins to manifest. But do not think reversal is only about external circumstances. It begins first within you. The reversal of despair into hope, the reversal of fear into courage, the reversal of bitterness into strength. The enemy's greatest weapon is not always loss, but the lie that loss means defeat. Yet God is overturning the lie. He is turning inward weakness into supernatural resilience. The reversal is not just around you, it is in you, and yet the external will follow. For when Joseph was lifted from the prison, the same chains that held him down became the evidence of his elevation. When Esther stood before the king, the decree that was meant to annihilate her people was overturned, and the very gallows built for Mordecai were used to hang Haman. That is reversal in its purest form, the enemy falling into the pit he dug for you, the weapon forged against you breaking in his own hands, the curse reversing back to its sender. The key to reversal is endurance. The enemy's schemes only succeed if you give up. But every time you endured, every time you refused to quit, every time you kept praying, kept believing, kept moving forward, You were aligning yourself with reversal. You were sowing seeds that would bloom at the appointed time. August 20 is the harvest of those hidden seeds. This reversal will be visible. Those who mocked will watch. Those who doubted will see. Those who betrayed will witness your elevation. For reversal is never hidden. It is a testimony. God does not reverse your story in secret. He does it in the open so that all may know He was with you. The same mouths that laughed will speak in awe. The same eyes that looked down on you will look up in wonder. This is not about revenge. It is about vindication. It is not about pride. It is about proof that the God who called you was faithful all along. So lift your head, chosen one. The pit was not the end. The betrayal was not the final word. The prison was not your grave. Every blow was setting up the breakthrough. Every loss was making room for double restoration. Every curse was preparing to become a blessing. The story is turning, and the turn is not subtle. It is dramatic. It is undeniable. It is prophetic. And on August 20, the unlocking is the beginning of this reversal. The locks that kept you confined are breaking, and as they break, the very chains used to hold you become the evidence of your rising. The enemy will watch what he built collapse. The plans he crafted will unravel. The weapons he forged will shatter, and you will walk out not empty, but carrying the treasures of victory. This is the day of reversal. The pit to the palace, the cross to the resurrection, the exile to the return, the curse to the blessing. What the enemy meant for harm, God is turning for good. And when you look back, you will not see defeat. You will see destiny. You will not see loss. You will see legacy. For reversal is the mark of the chosen, and August 20 is the day when it begins to manifest. The prophetic call to arise and step into destiny. Every unlocking leads to a calling. A door is not meant to be admired, but to be entered. A gate is not given to be gazed upon, but to be crossed. August 20 is not simply the day when the locks break and the chains fall. It is the day when the chosen ones are summoned to arise, to move, to step into what has been waiting for them all along. The unlocking is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of destiny. And the voice of heaven now calls, "Arise, chosen ones, for the time is now." For too long, many have stood outside the door, staring, weeping, praying, but paralyzed by fear or doubt. But the prophetic call is this: when the door opens, step through. Do not linger in yesterday when tomorrow is already here. Do not cling to the chains when they have already fallen. Do not sit in the prison when the gates are wide. The time of hesitation is over. The time of excuses is past. The call is to arise. The chosen are not defined by the open door. They are defined by their response to it. Israel saw the Red Sea part, but only those who walked through entered the promise of freedom. The rest would have drowned in hesitation had they not moved when God moved. So it is with you. August 20 will not only expose who is chosen, it will separate those who step forward from those who remain behind. For destiny is not for the fearful, it is for the faithful. The prophetic call to arise is not gentle, it is urgent. It is the same call given to Joshua after Moses departed. "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise and cross over." There comes a moment when yesterday must end and tomorrow must begin, when morning must give way to movement, when the wilderness must give way to the promise. August 20 is that moment. You cannot stay where you were and enter where you are called. You must rise, but rising is not easy. Rising requires courage. Destiny is always guarded by giants. When Israel stood at the edge of the promised land, they saw the fruit, but they also saw the giants. Most turned back in fear, but Joshua and Caleb declared, "We are well able." The chosen are those who rise in courage, who see the opposition but believe the promise, who step into destiny despite the cost. On August 20, the call will test you. Will you rise in faith, or will you remain in fear? The prophetic call also demands obedience. The chosen are not free to walk their own way. They are called to walk God's way. The open door is not for selfish gain, but for divine purpose. When Esther was elevated to the throne, the call came through Mordecai, who knows but that you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Her elevation was not for her comfort, but for her calling. She had to risk her life to save her people, so it will be with you. The door that opens on August 20 is not for your ease. It is for your assignment, and yet the call is also a call to faith. You will not have all the answers. The path will not be fully revealed. The chosen are called to walk by faith, not by sight. Abraham was told, "Go to the land I will show you." He was not given a map, only a promise, but he arose and went. And because he moved, he became the father of nations. The prophetic call always requires steps into the unknown. August 20 is the summons to move even when you cannot see the end, to walk because you trust the one who called. Do not underestimate what happens when you rise. When Peter stepped out of the boat at the word of the Lord, he walked on what should have drowned him. When you arise, impossibilities become pathways. When you step, miracles unfold. The chosen are not called to live by natural laws, but by supernatural faith. Your rising is the key to the miracle. The door is open, but it is your step that completes the breakthrough. This call is not only individual, it is collective. The chosen must arise as a body, as a remnant, as a generation. One can chase 1,000, but two can chase 10,000. Imagine what the rising of the chosen together can unleash. The world has waited for this moment, for the unveiling of the sons and daughters of God. August 20 is not about one person's story. It is about a generation stepping into its assignment. The call is greater than you, but it requires you. But let this be a warning. Destiny is costly. To arise is to leave behind. To step forward is to let go. Abraham had to leave his country, his family, his father's house. Elisha had to leave his plow behind. Peter had to leave his nets. The chosen cannot cling to the old while stepping into the new. August 20 will demand a decision. Will you hold on to what is comfortable, or will you arise to what is eternal? The call will cost you everything, but it will give you more than you can imagine. And do not think you are unworthy. The call does not come to the perfect. It comes to the willing. Moses stuttered, David was overlooked, Esther was an orphan, Peter denied. Yet all arose when the moment came and history was changed. Your weakness is not your disqualification, it is your qualification. For in your weakness his strength is revealed. The prophetic call is not about your ability, it is about your surrender. On August 20, the line will be drawn. Some will see the door open and freeze in fear. Others will see the door open and step into destiny. Which will you be? This is not a day to spectate. It is a day to participate. Heaven is calling your name. The time of waiting is over. The time of preparation is complete. The time of reversal has begun. And now the call is clear. Arise, step through, take hold. This is your moment. This is your hour. This is your destiny. The door has opened. The call has sounded. The way has been made. Arise, chosen one, for August 20 is the day that unlocks everything.